Back inside, the house was quiet. Hodge and Claudia were in Georgia for a bridge tournament. Martin couldn't relate to their passion for the card game, but there was something sweet about this thing they had found to do together in their middle years. Gave Martin the house to himself most weekends. He straightened the apartment, emptying his wastebasket into the garage bag Claudia left in the downstairs hall, but bagging his liquor bottles separately to drop in a dumpster the next time he was out. Hodge and Claudia liked him. He didn't want them counting the bottles. During the week, when abstinence failed, he did his drinking late at night so he'd be sober if they invited him upstairs for dinner or to watch television. His briefcase was spilling over with the irrelevant memos that clogged his faculty mailbox every day. The college didn't pay him enough to read them. He threw them away and pulled out the first stack of papers his students had turned in. He had made the assignment glibly, forgetting how much work it was going to be to grade the papers. He put them on top of his mini-fridge. In the side pocket of his briefcase were the photos Leon had sent. He took them out for another look. Still no word on Leon's medical problem. Martin had thought at first that Leon sent the photos by accident, forgetting they were tucked in the back of the ledger. But if Leon were seriously ill, he may have wanted the photos out of his house, afraid of who would find them if he died. If so, Martin was an unlikely trustee. He put the photos back in his briefcase, trying to identify the tight feeling in his ribcage, the tinny taste in his mouth. He thought it might be hunger and went upstairs to the family kitchen to forage. Claudia had cleaned up before she left. The Formica tabletop gleamed. Packages of cookies sat on the counter, but nothing tempted him. The Harvest yellow refrigerator hummed in the quiet, displaying family photos, birthday cards, scribbled notes. Martin realized he was lonely. He was not one to take time for loneliness. He had spent the past decade surrounded by men. One-time men in bars where he went equipped with his bar name and not enough money. The loud, fluid group of men he and Dennis called friends, the ones AIDS hadn't culled. Men he realized now were more Dennis's friends than his, if they were anyone's. Always someone around to shoot down any introspection. Until now. He opened a package of vanilla wafers, just for something to do. One other time he had felt like this, during the mosquito-ridden summer of 1955, when Deke Armstrong got a part in the Lost Colony outdoor drama in Manteo, on Roanoke Island on North Carolina's Outer Banks, and Martin followed him there. It was Deke's second summer in Manteo, a waterfront town of a few hundred people if you didn't count tourists. A friend of Deke's got Martin a job as desk boy at the newly opened Queen Elizabeth Inn, its fake English half-timbering a tribute to the Queen's failed colonization efforts. The hotel took money out of employee paychecks for room and board, and the cost of laundering their logoed shirts, but the job still paid better than picking cucumbers or tobacco. Even if Deke hadn't invited Martin to follow him, Martin would have found a job somewhere other than Willoughby County. Deke didn't suggest Martin live with him, and Martin didn't ask. Deke and 3 other men in the cast rented a dilapidated house on the beach south of Nag's Head, over the Washington Bomb Bridge from Manteo. Sand drifted against the east side of the house, threatened to bury it. Weather had warped the wood shingles on the outside walls and knocked some out like teeth. Green mold streaked the window frames, and storms had ripped away the screens on the sleeping porch. But the house's crooked wooden stairs led right to the beach. Deke and his friends partied there every night until 3 or 4 in the morning. The actors didn't have to be back at the theater until the next afternoon. Martin's own shift started at 8 in the morning, but he was young. He bought a used bicycle to make the 5-mile trip from the inn to the beach house, pedaling over the long, flat bridge. On the Nag's Head side, old hurricane floods had caved in the sides of the road. Sand blew over pavement. Scrub grew along the road, keeping its head low, knowing the wind would strip bald any branch that reached too high. In the early mornings, Martin could ride the entire flat route without meeting a single car. For 4 weeks, it was paradise. The houses on either side were unoccupied that summer, and at night the beach was pitch black, except for the bonfire they built, the stars, and the faraway light from the Bodie Island lighthouse. Martin and Deke could be 10 yards away from the others, screwing right there in the sand, and no one could see. They knew, but they couldn't see. He and Deke came back to the fire with sand.